Welcome to our video on Harry Potter's birthday 2019, which is also Lammas Eve of 2019. Astrology chart forecast, and that's including planetary archangels Michael and planetary archangel Gabriel. Also zodiac angels, planetary ingresses, both natural and also hourly horoscope houses. Now, we're also going to give you station changes and also planetary aspects for the specific day, and that's going to be the 31st. Okay, now, again, July 31st celebrates Harry Potter's birthday and also commemorates the festival of Lammas Eve for Wiccans. Also, St. Ignatius Loyola feast day is celebrated on July 31st in 2019 as well. St. Ignatius Loyola is a saint that is recognized by Catholics and Anglicans alike. He is a patron saint of the Society of Jesus, and it's associated with the Holy Eucharist. So he's associated with the communion or the Eucharist. The sun will be conjunct the moon and Venus. The sun and Mars will both be trine Jupiter. Saturn will be conjunct Pluto, and Uranus will be square Venus, the moon, and the sun. Neptune will be trine Mercury and square Jupiter. Now, these zodiacal facets will cause many alliances and friendships between various factions and individuals and groups. And adventure and great amounts of romance will be congruent with general social mores on the surface, while secret passions will be in contrast to society at large. And this is also going to lead many individuals towards seeking out sort of clandestine or obscure groups and obscure cults. Also, maybe tribal associations, to sort of feel like they belong or like they're a part of something. Now, these types of personal conflicts will be soothed and assuaged by larger community networks that will provide amiable and sort of cheerful communal support to those who might otherwise become very isolated, or those who would otherwise, tend to just stay to themselves and not get involved. But this will really help a lot of people who've been very isolated to get involved more with people who have a lot of things in common with them. And it'll be very helpful. Now, we will also be providing you with very accurate and precise corresponding planetary archangels and zodiac angels to evoke or call upon towards making your gatherings very fun and very fruitful events for everybody. Okay, so again, Lammas Eve for Wiccans, and for everybody who loves Harry Potter, and that's a lot of people, Harry Potter's birthday in 2019. Okay, so this is going to help you if you're going to want to have a Wiccan celebration, or if you're going to want to have, some people are going to be going to church and going for St. Ignatius Loyola, and some people are going to be dressing up and having costume parties for Harry Potter's birthday. So this will give you all the astrology and the angels and all the things you need necessary to make these events really fun and really make them something to remember and something that's worth capturing on video and going ahead and upload them so everybody can see what fun you had. Okay, now, regarding, I'm going to get to our disclaimer first before we get into the meat of the chart. Again, watching this video or reading the document attached to it is an act of spiritual willpower, and any such action is considered magic. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Now, Harry Potter's birthday celebrations and Lammas Eve occur on, again, July 31st, 2019. That's what this chart we're going to give you is about. Now, we don't have the exact hour and minute that Harry Potter was born. The chart we have prepared gives us a fairly early for both Harry Potter celebrations and Lammas Eve festivities, so that people who are able to begin sort of making preparations early on in the day for their parties or sacred circles or rituals for later that day or that evening. So what we've done is we selected this day, again, the 31st, for July's astrology chart at 11 a.m. using Greenwich Mean Time. That's Greenwich Mean Time for the hourly calculations. Now remember, okay, this would be 12 noon if you're going to apply daylight savings time. So it's 11 if you're using Greenwich Mean Time, 12 noon if you're applying daylight savings time. Now we're including planetary aspects, very precise planetary aspects, station changes, natural houses, and horoscope houses associated with planetary placements, as well as hourly house respectively. Now, well, as far as the station changes, we have another video where we talk about station changes and ingresses that go along with the eclipses and the full new moon this month. So that's a separate video. So look at that other video for July 2019, again for the full new moon and the eclipses, which will give you the station changes. For this one, it's just the stations that the planets are going to be in on that day, not actually station changes. Okay, just to clear that up. Okay, now regarding, we're also going to be having here, giving you the angelic beings and the forces for the not only the general natural houses, but also the hourly houses. So giving you two of those sort of house, specifics for that. Okay. So now regarding this chart, we're going to get it so that you can see it better. Okay. And we're going to sort of get the lighting a little bit better for you, and we're also going to bring this in a little closer for you so you can see it better. All right, and the lighting has to be brought down a little bit so you can see the chart more clearly. That enables you to see the chart more clearly. All right, now we're going to begin with the Sun in Leo at 7 degrees 58 minutes. That's the Sun in the sign of Leo, the Lion, and that's what Leo. It's in the 10th house. So in the wheels within wheels, not these larger natural ones, but in the wheels within wheels, it's in the 10th house, which is similar to the sign of Capricorn, the goat, of social standing and fame. Leo is akin to the natural 5th house of children and creativity. And the lion's divine tone is I will. Planetary Archangel Michael, or Michael, visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Verchiel, Verchiel of Leo. Michael is for the sun. And we have the Merkaba field for the Archangel Michael. He is the Archangel who presides over all the fire signs. He's also we're using it in this specific one for the planetary aspect. He's a planetary Archangel for the sun. Now Leo is fixed fire, so it works for the fire sign aspects as well. So Sun in Leo. Okay, now the moon is on that day is in the sign of Cancer, the crab. The moon here, the crescent. It doesn't mean it's going to be a crescent. It's used for the indication of the moon, the planet, the moon, because the ancients used to consider that the sun and moon were planets, because it's meant wanderer. So the moon in Cancer, 28 degrees 34 minutes in 10th house, which is analogous to the sign of Capricorn, of social standing and fame. So a lot about social standing and popularity. And this is very good for when we're talking about Harry Potter's birthday and Lammas Eve and St. Ignatius Loyola. Now, Cancer is analogous to the natural 4th house of hearth, home, and family. And the crab's divine tone is I feel. The planetary Archangel Gabriel visits dwelling of Zodiac Angel Muriel. So now the sign Cancer, the crab, we have moon in Cancer, and Cancer, the crab, is cardinal water. So and also the planetary Archangel Gabriel rules over the water signs and also is a planetary Archangel of the moon. So the moon rules Cancer anyway. Okay, and this is the Merkaba field, or the Merkaba field for the planetary Archangel Gabriel. And Gabriel also rules over the water signs as well. Now the Zodiac Angel is Muriel for the sign of Cancer. Now also what we mentioned earlier is that the sun is in Leo this month, on this date, and in this month, and the well, not all month because it's going to ingress, but on this day the sun is in Leo, and the sun rules Leo too. So this is a very important day. It's a very intense day astrologically. So it's a very good day to begin Harry Potter celebrations, bring in all your magic, and also Lammas Eve celebrations, okay? So, and even for if you're going to church, the energies are going to be heightened. Energies are going to be heightened because actually Jesus Christ is represented by the sun, and also Mother Mary represented by the moon. Okay. Now we have Mercury, the planet Mercury, and it's going to be in the sign of Cancer, the crab, retrograde. Mercury retrograde in the sign of Cancer, the crab, at 23 degrees 58 minutes in the 10th house, again, which is akin to the sign of Capricorn, of social standing and fame. Now remember, another 10th house aspect here. Hearth, home, and family, and 10th house, okay? Because Cancer is assigned to, is similar to the natural 4th house, with hearth, home, and family, and on this day, it's at this time, in this hour, and to this minute, it's in the house of the 10th house. So that's going to give you some more about popularity, some more about social standing. Okay. Now remember, again, Cancer is analogous to the 4th house, hearth, home, and family. A lot of things to do with the kitchen, the hearth. The crab's divine tone is I feel. It's going to be a lot about feelings, how people feel. And the planetary archangel Raphael visits the abode of Zodiac angel Muriel. Muriel, the Zodiac sign of the sign of Zodiac angel of the sign of Cancer, and Raphael, the archangel Raphael, who is associated with the planet Mercury. Planet Mercury. Okay, so that's this is the Merkaba field for Raphael, because he also presides over all of the air signs, although Cancer is a water sign, but just to let you know. Now, the planet Venus is in Leo on that day at this time. Venus in Leo here at 4 degrees 9 minutes in the 10th house, again the 10th house, which is similar to the sign of Capricorn. Again, social standing and fame, popularity. You're standing in the community. You're standing in your church community. If you're going to church to celebrate the Saint Ignatius Loyola, or if you're going to a Lammas Eve celebration, if you're a Wiccan, you're standing in the Wiccan community, or you're standing if you're around a lot of people who like to celebrate Harry Potter's birthday. I'm sure a lot of people. You might have a certain character you like to portray, or you might have a certain standing you like to present, a certain magical standing. So it's all very important. It all kind of adds up. Okay, now remember, the Zodiac angel for Leo is Verchiel. Okay, and again, the planetary archangel for Venus is Anael. Okay, Leo again, I will. So a lot of powerful, magical energy. Okay, now it's what magic is about. Magic is about your will. Magic is about your true will. It's not what you want to do. It's about what you will do. So when you've decided you're going to do something, no matter what you want, you stick to what you will and you do what you willed to do. Okay? And Creator has put your desires in you. So what you will do is what Creator wants you to do. Because something that's that strong is going to be something that was put in you by your genetics. Your genetics, your astrology is your spiritual genetics. It's all the same thing. It's all tied up to your DNA. Okay, now Mars again in Leo. Mars in the sign of Leo, the lion, at 18 degrees 43 minutes in 10th house. 10th house again. Again, analogous to the sign of Capricorn, the goat, of social standing and fame. All right, what is your standing in the Wiccan community? What is your standing in your church community? What is your standing in your community of people who like to celebrate Harry Potter's birthday? Again, a lot of magical characters you can emulate in Harry Potter and a birthday party. Okay. Now Leo is akin to the natural 5th house of children and creativity. Okay. So we have the lion's divine tone again being I will. I will. So again, it's all about your true will. The planetary seraphim of Mars is the planetary seraphim Samael. And he visits dwelling of Zodiac angel Verchiel, of the sign of Leo, associated with the natural 5th house. We have Jupiter. We have the planet Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius, the archer, At 14 degrees, 41 minutes in the third house. That's the third house of, which is akin to the sign of Gemini, the twins of transportation and communication. So how you're going to get to your church, how you're going to communicate with people, how you're going to get to your Harry Potter party, how you're going to communicate with people, how you're going to get to your Wiccan circle, how you're going to communicate with people. Sagittarius is akin to the natural ninth house of life path meaning. And the Archer's divine tone is I perceive. How do you perceive these things? How do you perceive yourself? How do you perceive others? How do you perceive your standing in the community? Now, the planetary Archangel Sachiel visits abode of Zodiac angel Adnakhiel. Okay, that's Sachiel of Jupiter and Adnakhiel of Sagittarius. Remember, Jupiter is retrograde. Now, transportation and communication has a lot to do with also communicating with the archangels, and their transportation has to do with the divine words that you chant, the colors you use, the herbs you use, the incense you use, the divine tones that you use, and it's all about calling in that energy, and that's their mode of transportation. It could be that you're using a certain song, you might be using certain tones that are associated, and it's going to vibrate certain names, wear certain colors, and wear certain costumes, and these kind of things bring in these energies. Okay? So it's all very important. It's like when you go to church, you go to mass especially, the priest is doing all kinds of very magical things, very alchemical things. And it's really a very powerful, the Catholic Mass is a very powerful, high magic ritual having to do with very secret forms of alchemy, having to do with the crucifixion and the transubstantiation, okay, of the blood and the body of Christ. The blood and the body of Christ. It's all very important. It's an alchemical secret, an alchemical process. Okay, we're going to have Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. The planet Saturn retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, the goat, at 15 degrees 40 minutes in the third house, again, which is similar to the sign of Gemini, the twins of transportation and communication. More about how you're going to get there, how you're going to communicate with your fellow humans and also angelic beings and other kind of magical beings. Capricorn is analogous to the natural 10th house, again, social standing and fame, popularity, your standing in the community. The ghost divine tone is I use. Are you going to use your tools? Are you going to use your tools? Are you going to use your rosary in the church? Are you going to use your scapular? Are you going to use your Bible? Are you going to use your magic wand? Are you going to use your magic chalice? Are you going to use the costumes that you wear? You're going to use the magical implements and tools that you've made? Are you going to use them? Are you going to bring them into the circle and call them up in front of the quarters and call the quarters? Are you going to utilize the angelic beings? Are you going to utilize your station standing in the community in order to call these entities in? Now, again, the ghost divine tone I use is very important. If you have some and you don't use it, what good is it? What good is it if you don't use it? Planetary Archangel Sachiel of Saturn visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Anael of Capricorn. Saturn in Capricorn, the goat. Now the planet Uranus in Taurus, on that day at that time, Uranus in Taurus, the bull. At 33 minutes, it's at 6 degrees, 33 minutes. Uranus in Taurus, the bull, at 6 degrees, 33 minutes in the 7th house, which is similar to the sign of Libra of law and commitment. Libra, the scales of law and commitment. There's going to be certain laws you have to follow, certain rules you have to follow, certain commitments you have to make. Because if you want to get social standing and fame and popularity, you have to be committed. You have to be committed to your project, committed to your community, committed to helping with kind of events, okay, and rituals. Now, Taurus is akin to the natural 2nd house of money and possessions. And the bull's divine tone is I have. What do you have? Do you have a sacred place that you can have a sacred circle? Do you have a church you can go to? Do you have a place where Wiccans can meet? Do you have a place where people can have a Harry Potter party? Okay? What do you have? So that's all about, do you have tools? Do you have costumes? Do you have a community to enjoy these kind of things with? It's all about what you have when it has to do with Taurus and money and possessions. Of course, that helps. Do you possess tools? Do you possess your pentacle? Do you possess a wand? Do you possess a sword or an athame? Do you possess these things? Do you possess the magical tools and the costumes for the Harry Potter party? Do you have the food that you're going to bring to people? Now the planetary archangel Ariel of Uranus, that's Auriel, visits the dwelling of zodiac angel Asmodel of the sign of Taurus the bull, Asmodel. Now Neptune on that day at that time retrograde, Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces the fish at 18 degrees 19 minutes in the 5th house, which is similar to the sign of Leo, of children and creativity. Pisces analogous to the natural 12th house of spirituality, so it's going to bring in your spirituality on that day, your Christian, Catholic, or Anglican spirituality, or your Orthodox spirituality. It's going to bring in the spirituality. Many people feel that Harry Potter represents their spirituality, and that's very valid. And of course, Wiccan is one form of spirituality. It's very valid as well. Now, and the fish's divine tone is I believe. What do you believe in? Everybody believes in something different. Do you believe in the magic that you're using? Or do you know it works, like in the age of Aquarius? But belief, the age of Pisces, which we've left now, is about belief. But belief is still important. Just because we've left the age of Pisces doesn't mean belief is not still important. It is. But you have to also know what you're doing. And then you'll see signs and miracles. Okay? And you'll see magic happen. You can call it miracles, you can call it magic, you can call it wonders, whatever you want, but you can see fabulous things happen. Okay? And so planetary archangel Asariel of Neptune, Asariel, visits abode of zodiac angel Adnakhiel of Pisces. Now Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, Pluto here, excuse me, that's the south node, this is Pluto here, retrograde in Capricorn at 21 degrees, 29 minutes in 3rd house, which is similar to the sign of Gemini of transportation and communication. Capricorn is analogous to the natural 10th house, social standing and fame, popularity. And it goes divine tone, I use. You've got to use something. Using something is not evil. People think that if you use things, you're evil. It's not evil to use things. It is evil to have something and not use it. You should use what you have and do something with it, or what good is it? Okay, now Capricorn is analogous to the natural 10th house. Again, social standing and fame. Planetary archangel Azrael, A-Z-R-A-E-L, Azrael, visits habitation of zodiac angel Anael of Capricorn, Azrael of Pluto. Whether or not Pluto keeps being, promoted, demoted, it doesn't matter. Point is, it's still an important planet. Okay? Now the North Node is retrograde in the sign of Cancer at 16 degrees, 22 minutes in 9th house, which is similar to the sign of Sagittarius of life, path, meaning. Cancer's divine tone is I feel. The planetary archangel Gabriel rules over Luna, and due to this aspect associates with the sign of Cancer the crab, which is ruled by the moon. In this retrograde station, there's often a nostalgic or unresolved feelings which might need to be revisited for further healing. Cancer the crab is a nurturing sign, so make sure to nurture yourself. Those nurtures, those qualities in yourself. Those qualities in yourself that you wish to cultivate for health and happiness, while ignoring attributes in yourself that you do not, want to cultivate because they do not give you what you truly want in life. Okay. Now we chose again 11 a.m. for hourly house calculations and 12 p.m. noon if you're applying daylight savings time, which reveal 9th house qualities of life path, meaning akin to Sagittarius, the archer, for the North Node. Okay. And this places the South Node in the house, in the house with the attributes analogous to the sign of Gemini, the twins of transportation and communication. Now, of course, right now this month we've got the North Node in Cancer and the South Node in Capricorn, the retrograde. But we're talking about the houses on this day at this time, which is similar to Gemini and Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius for North Node and the South Node for Gemini. Okay, so that's going to bring in different types of attributes of life path, meaning for Sagittarius, and transportation and communication for Gemini. Now, when referring to this month's placement against North and South Node, being that the North Node is in the sign of Cancer retrograde, though, and and the South Node is in Capricorn retrograde, it becomes important for individuals for you to attempt to put more emphasis on practical usage of their own feelings or the feelings of others for purposes of socio-economic climbing up the ladder of success towards fame and notoriety. So people are going to want to have more fame and more notoriety, okay? And Cancer is analogous to the natural 4th house of hearth, home, and family, while Capricorn is similar to the natural 10th house of social standing and fame. Again, more about social standing and fame, more about this sort of popularity and your standing in the community. Now, the South Node placement is the sign of in the sign of Capricorn, the goat, whose divine tone is I use. That's another thing about using what you need to use. The North Node being Cancer, the crab, divine tone, again, I feel, how you feel about it. The North Node represents an individual's path in this current incarnation, how you feel. The South Node corresponds to one's past incarnations, how you used things in the past. And with the Capricorn being in this placement, it becomes more evident when we consider the divine tone of Capricorn, I use. So it's all about now feeling about what you used before. Okay? So getting more of a feeling about how people feel, or how animals feel, or how plants might feel, how creatures might feel, how Mother Earth might feel, or Father Earth. Some say it's Father Earth in Egypt. The Egyptians believed it was Father Earth and Mother Sky, and then in the Western they believe it's that the Earth is feminine, and Mother Earth and Father Sky. Because I think it's in Japan, I think that they think the moon is male, and here in the West we think it's female. So it's whatever whatever works in your culture. Whatever works in your culture. Now, the astrological formula for Capricorn, the goat, the South Node placement, the past life divine tone I use, and Cancer, the crab, North Node, present incarnation with the divine tone I feel. But that equation is going to have that the person is going to know how to utilize people and creatures, both flora and fauna, for either personal or organizational gain, to begin to understand and sympathize with others when considering relationships between self and not self. Now, a lot of people say you should have empathy rather than sympathy. But the problem is, if you have empathy, you're going to get every kind of problem, any kind of injury or illness. And if you want to get other people's injuries and illnesses, have at it. But if you don't want to get if you don't want to get other people's injuries, and if you don't want to get other people's diseases, then be sympathetic and feel sorry for them, but don't empathize. Don't become a conduit for them to pour all their bad stuff onto you. Because really, you have to take care of yourself, because nobody's going to take care of you like yourself. And if you want to take care of those who God's given you charge over, then you have to be in good health. You have to be functional in good health to take care of what God put you on earth to do. Okay? So if you're someone who wants to do that, fine. But if that's not your calling, then don't do it. Just be sympathetic. Okay? Be careful, because other people, if they want you to be empathic, they might want you to take on their stuff. Don't fall for it. Okay? All right. Now, this monad aspect of self and not self, like the center of self and not self around the perimeter, it's all self. Okay? But this comprehension, this understanding explains that a monad that's in the teaching of Kabbalah or Kabbalah. Now, regarding this concept, it's explained by Dion Fortune, who's the authoress of this book, one of my very favorite books on Kabbalah or Kabbalah, The Mystical Kabbalah, a book she wrote, which was first published in England in 1935, and then reprinted by Samuel Weiser, Inc. in 1984. Okay? And in here she talks about God being pressure. She says, God is pressure, quote unquote. An excellent, excellent book, which you should get. And it shows the Kabbalah here. Keter and Chokhmah, Binah, and Chesed, and Gebura, and Tiferet, the invisible scepter of Da'ath here in the throat. We have Netzach, Hod, we have Yesod and Malkut. Okay? So that's Kabbalah. All right. Now we're going to get into your planetary aspects here. So we're going to make the lighting a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. The planetary aspects for you for July 31st of 2019. We have the Sun conjunct Venus. Okay? So they're in the same house. Sun conjunct Venus. The Sun trine Jupiter. Sun here, trine, Sun in Leo, trine Jupiter in Sagittarius. We have, and Jupiter's retrograde. Now Sun square Uranus. So the Sun in Leo and on the red line, square Uranus in Taurus. And when the Sun is trine Jupiter, that's the blue line. Okay. Moon conjunct Mercury. So the Moon here is conjunct Mercury in the same house. We have the Moon conjunct Venus in the same house. We have the Moon square Uranus on the red line. We have the Moon opposing Pluto on the dark red line. Moon in Cancer, and that's opposing Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Okay, and that's, we're going to move next to the to Mercury. We have Mercury conjunct the Moon. The planet Mercury conjunct the Moon in the sign of Cancer, and it's in the same house. And we have Mercury trine Neptune. So we have Mercury in the sign of Cancer trine Neptune. Neptune in retrograde in Pisces on the blue line. And we have Mercury in Cancer opposing Pluto. Mercury opposing Pluto on the dark red line. Pluto retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, the goat. Okay? Now we have Venus conjunct the Sun in the same house. We have Venus conjunct the Moon in the same house, and Venus square Uranus. Venus in Leo, square Uranus in Taurus. And we have Mars trine Jupiter. Now the planet Mars in Leo trine Jupiter in Sagittarius on the blue line. We have Jupiter trine the Sun. Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius trine the Sun in Leo. We have Jupiter trine Mars. Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius on the blue line trine Mars in Leo. Jupiter square Neptune. So Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius square Neptune retrograde in Pisces. We have Saturn sextile Neptune. Saturn in a retrograde in Capricorn, the goat, on the green line. Sextile Neptune retrograde in Pisces. We have Saturn conjunct Pluto in the same house here. We have Uranus square the Sun. So we have the planet Uranus in Taurus square on the red line, the Sun in Leo. We have Uranus square the Moon. Uranus in Taurus square the Moon here in Cancer. We have Uranus in Taurus square Venus in Leo. And we have Uranus direct and Venus direct. Then we have Neptune. We have Neptune retrograde in Pisces trine Mercury. Here we have Mercury in retrograde in Cancer. Okay? And we have Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the red line square Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius. And we have Neptune retrograde here in Pisces square, it's also going to be sextile. It's going to be sextile Saturn retrograde in Saturn. It's retrograde, Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. So we have the planet Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the green line, sextile Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. We have Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the green line, sextile Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Now we have Pluto opposing the moon. So we have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn on the dark red line opposing the moon in the sign of Cancer. We have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn on the dark red line opposing also, it's going to be opposing Mercury retrograde in Cancer. We have Pluto conjunct Saturn in the same house here, both retrograde, and Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, sextile Neptune on the green line, retrograde in Pisces, Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Now, we're going to talk about the progression of the equinoxes and that kind of thing that people often discuss. Regarding the precession of the equinoxes and that debate, the seasonal considerations must be taken into consideration due to environmental conditions, and also there's also some ways that Western astrology is calculated that has to do with, you can read the ancient Picatrix, and that will help you understand, and also the works of Agrippa, how this changed, how Christianity changed some of these things. But it actually, if you look at it, actually all kind of it all begins to equal out, because the Western system is Earth centric, and the Vedic system is Sun centric, and so all these different considerations have to be taken into account, and therefore the current Western astrological calculations, again Earth centric, are just as accurate and viable as the Vedic or the solar centric systems. And also it's very important to get into Chinese astrology. Is very, very helpful, and Chinese astrology makes it very understandable. It's a lot of fun. It makes it very, very understandable. Now, having charts done in Western, Vedic, and Chinese astrology gives several aspects of God's great clock. Information found in this document and in this video is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah or Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.